Good evening, friends. I'm Dr. Aajay Shah, bringing this another Facebook Live. Tonight's topic is African American women and obesity. And I'm joining by Meryl Fury. She should be joining in few minutes. We were having technical difficulties to add a person on our live, so we are waiting for a few minutes. So please just give us a few minutes. But let's recap what we discussed last time. Last Sunday, we discussed that African American women and obesity is a major issue. Average obesity in America is about 43%. In African American women, it's almost about 55, 57%. So it's significantly higher in African American women, and that's very, very concerning. Today's topic, we're going to talk about environment, habits. So let me see if Meryl can join us. So I can see you, Meryl, but on Facebook, I only see myself somehow. Actually, here it's coming. Here we go. Here we go. We are on now.
Right.
Sorry, friends, again for these technical difficulties, but we are live, and Meryl fortunately has joined us. So instead of canceling tonight, we both are live. I can see both of us on the Facebook. So go ahead, Meryl, take the stage.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that was a little bit of a test just of our technical skills.
Yeah.
When neither one of us are technically really all that savvy, but we worked it out.
Yeah.
So tonight, welcome to Black Health Rising. So glad that you could be with us again tonight. We are on episode 2. My name is Meryl Fury. I'm a registered nurse, and I'm working with Dr. Shah, and our goal is to give information that can make a difference for people who want to improve their health, and in particular, manage their weight. Like I said, I'm a registered nurse, and I am president and CEO of the plant-based nutrition movement. And our goal in that organization is to teach a lot about nutrition, and in particular, plant-based nutrition for health. So tonight we're going to talk about obesity and its impact on everyday life. Everything that we take on in life, including our health, gets done and undone, literally, based on the thoughts we have and the choices we make about it. And our health and our weight, exercise, stress management, all of it, eating patterns, they all, even obesity, have to do with the choices we make and the thoughts we have, consciously and unconsciously, literally, whether we know it or not. It is a lot up here. So let's talk about how obesity starts. And it's different for a lot of women tell me all kinds of different stories about how it started, but very often it's like this. Somewhere along the line, when they were either very young or young adolescents, young adults, they get a message from their parents, their family of origin. It might be a psychological or an emotional hurt that they sustain, and they start eating to feel better. That is one thing that happens. There are also people who don't necessarily get hurt, but they are sort of like put together. The way they're built is that they really enjoy food. They like the taste. They enjoy these people are foodies, you know. They like the taste. They like the smell. They like the whole world around food. So they eat a lot because they enjoy it, and it might not even be like that they're hungry. They just eat. So before we really look at obesity, we need to look at the psychological factors before we can manage anything related to food and obesity and health, any of the things, even exercise, stress management, any of them. We have to look at the psychological factors. So one of the things that I want to bring up is that African Americans in particular have quite an interesting food history. So most of our ancestors, back 400, 300 years ago, were brought here as slaves. And on the slave plantations, the slaves were not really given very healthy food. They were given poor quality food, just barely what they could to stay alive. A lot of it was food that was not really, I don't know, it wasn't even really suitable for dogs to eat, but that's what they were given. And the slaves were hardy and survived and ate what they could, to include pig feet and chitlins and hog maws, greens with fat back. That was a good thing. Sweet potatoes, that's a good thing. But a lot of the food was just really substandard and contributed to poor health. Then as the time progressed and slaves were freed and we moved from maybe down south or stayed down south, we continued the same eating patterns. And over years and years, it just took a toll on African American people. It also became woven into our family and our culture, so that my mom, when I was growing up, continued to cook pig feet and hog maws and chitlins and cracklins and things like that. And those foods were very much tied to our culture and very much tied to my family culture. Then when it comes to growing up, if we're eating like that, that's what we get used to. That's what we know is food. That's what I know my mom fed me, and I know my mom loved me. So I continue eating that, and that food is comfortable and good for me, at least psychologically. It takes a toll on our health, though, and because it's not, there's not a lot of fiber, not a lot of nutrients, not a lot of vitamins and minerals in those kinds of foods, we wind up layering on extra weight that's unnecessary. On top of that, culturally, there is some belief that a heavier set body is kind of more beautiful, right? Now, there's a long history of that in Africa, where heavy set women were seen as like they had enough money or enough resources to be heavy, so that made them more desirable and in a way more beautiful. Here in the United States, it doesn't quite work that way. Heavier set people very often are not more well off financially. They do have access to more food, but it might not be particularly healthy food. It might be food that's just heavier or richer in sugar and oil. So we wind up layering on weight, and sometimes our mates or the people who we want to have as a mate find a heavier body more attractive, and we layer on weight for that reason. Another thing to look at is that we use food for all kinds of reasons. We eat for all kinds of reasons. I find this particular subject really fascinating. We can use food for love. It means love to some people. Like I said, my mother fed me interesting things like pig feet and chitlins. That to me meant she loved me, right? She would have fed me anything that she believed was healthy and good. And not only those foods, and she did feed me other stuff, but food became equated with love between me and my mom. Food can also be used as a reward. It could be maybe you say to your children, or your mom said to you, or your dad said to your grandma, whoever told you, oh, you're such a good girl. I'm going to give you this cupcake, or I'm going to take you to McDonald's, or I'm going to give you these Twinkies, or I'm going to give you this lollipop. And then it's a reward because you've been good. And we come to equate high salt and oil and sugary foods, refined foods, as rewards. Another reason we use food is for a sense of belonging. Like I might go to a friend's house and they're sitting down to eat dinner or it's a party or something. And if I don't eat, they're going to look at me like, what's wrong with you? And they're going to probably encourage me to eat. Even if I'm not hungry, they'll say, girl, you need to eat some of this. This is really good. This, you got to try this. I made this. That kind of thing. And so food becomes a mechanism for belonging. I'll tell you another way it comes out too, is when, so I tend to eat and really do only eat fruits and vegetables and whole grains and beans, only plants I eat. And if I go to someone's house and they don't have that type of food there, and I hold myself back and I say, no, I can't eat that, I don't eat that, well, then I could be insulting my host, or they could take it as an insult, let's say, and that might sort of compromise how well I fit in with that crowd. Okay. Food is also used for bartering. Let's say I have a bag of chips and you have a bag of diapers and we're going to trade because I need diapers for my baby and I'm going to give you this bag of chips and you're going to give me 3 diapers, and that's the deal. So food becomes money and bartering chips. All right. Food can also be a sign of status, a sign of accomplishment. If you can afford to eat out every night, even if it is McDonald's, that means something to some people. Food can also be used to just make yourself plain feel better. If you're a kid who's been hurt or abused or assaulted in some way and you come to equate food with feeling better, then it's easy to overeat just to feel better. And then there's one that I hear often from women, and is eating for protection. And that is intentionally eating, knowing that they're going to gain weight. And it's a way to keep other people away. There's a whole nother side of it where you're talking about eating at gatherings, social events, what kind of food is expected at a social event. Usually it's a lot of carbohydrates. Maybe there's macaroni and cheese, there's pies, there's cakes, there's breads, fried foods, things like that, that are not necessarily the healthiest choices that we could choose for foods. And then I really want to look at, just really briefly, the intentional marketing and targeting of foods toward African Americans. So you will see in almost any African American neighborhood, lots of fast food restaurants. You'll see advertising on television and on social media that is obviously intended for African American audiences, and the advertising is all about, it can be anything from alcoholic beverages to fast food, just highly processed stuff that is targeted at African Americans. All right, and this is really just the tip of the iceberg. Really, I just tap my toe in the water above the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more there. And just like your whole life can be set up to keep obesity in place with all of that going on that I just described, and a lot of that is unconscious. We don't even recognize that it's going on. In order to lose weight and to be healthier, and like I said, it can be to manage stress or to do exercise or drink more water or whatever it is, we have to set up structures that will keep what we want in existence and keep our mind alert and aware of those, so that we can either exercise more, release pounds, lose weight, manage stress. It requires a totally different mindset, and that's one thing that we're going to be talking about, is setting up your environment for success so that your mental work for attaining the goal that you've set for yourself is just not as difficult, right? Actually, success in any goal is way less about willpower, and it's way more about putting in a framework that you can hang on to that helps ensure you're going to get to your goals and meet your goals and maintain them. That's for everything in life. Dr. Shah is going to tell us a little bit more about creating habits and environment for success. So, Dr. Shah?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Meryl. I think you set up a very good stage and a place where I think we're starting to understand that obesity is not just only because we eat unhealthy. It has a lot of other factors, including cultural factors, social factors, personal factors, family related factors, even some of the places in the country in America where there are not even good grocery stores or farmer markets available. So I think obesity cannot be just blamed on people that they are just not eating healthy. It can be actually a lot more than that. And many times, frankly, from my own personal experience, personal factors in obesity is actually only about 20 or 30%, and many of the societal factors plays even a larger role. And that's where I think some of the African American women are at a big disadvantage. And that's what our efforts are going to be to make African American women empowered to see even with those disadvantages, how can they reverse the trend of obesity? How can they get healthier? So number one thing I want all of you, particularly African American women, to know that you need to have a purpose to lose weight. What is your purpose to lose weight? Do you want to lose weight because you want to reverse diabetes? Do you want to lose weight because you want to reverse high blood pressure? You want to lose weight because you want to fit in your wedding dress, which was 25, 30, 40 years ago? Do you want to lose weight because you want to see your grandkids' education? So grandkids' graduation. So make sure that you have a purpose to lose weight. People who start with purpose, they always have a higher chance of success. So always have a purpose, number one. Number two, please do not rely on a willpower. Willpower or our ability to make decisions many times is very finite. We make thousands of decisions per day. Many times we don't realize, but we are making every day 500 to 1,000 decisions, including what time to wake up, how to brush, how to take shower, what faucet to turn on, how to shave, how to come down and make a coffee. We're making lots and lots of decisions even within first hour of waking up. By the time afternoon comes, we have made so many decisions that there is a situation, there is a condition called decision fatigue, where your mind literally is tired of making the right decisions and right assessments. And that's where in the evening, many times, we make a lot of the wrong decisions. The decision which we made in the evening, if we were fresh in the morning, we would have made a better decision. So decision fatigue sets in, and this is a proven thing. So how can we overcome decision fatigue? When we have a decision fatigue, if we create an automatic environment and habits, then decision making is relied on our spinal cord, and many times it becomes essentially a reflex or a second reflex where you can just make automatic decisions. And that's where I actually am asking you to learn how to create an environment. When you create an environment, your decision making is taken out of the equation. For example, when you clean out your pantry of all unhealthy food, when you clean out your refrigerator of all unhealthy food, that means your pantry is packed with whole food, plant-based, no oil diet. That means no breakfast cereals, no cookies, no salty canned foods, no wheat pasta, no simple wheat pasta, no sugar, no oil. When you remove all those things from your pantry, when you remove from your refrigerator cheese and meat and salty food and even dairy for that sake, when you come home in the evening after a long tiring work day and your decision making capacity has significantly gone down, at that time only thing you have in front of you are the healthy items, that even though you will be choosing one of the healthy items, your decision will always turn out right. So please create an environment in your pantry, in your refrigerator, even on your kitchen. On your kitchen counter, place fruits and place even carrots, place even previously cooked potatoes. So that when you come home in the evening, even if you're working from home, when you are tired, when you have made many decisions, the next decision about the food will be the healthy choice and healthy decision. So again, do not rely on your willpower, rely on your environment. I have a separate video on how to clean out your kitchen on my YouTube channel, Healthy Living with Dr. Aajay Shah. Please watch that video and see if you can clean out your pantry and clean out your refrigerator tonight or tomorrow. If you do that, half of the game will be won, because when you eliminate the decision making necessity or the willpower from the equation, you actually will have a very high chance of success. So again, creating an environment is very, very important. Next thing I want to talk about is creating habits. And there's a book called Atomic Habits. It's one of the better book to read. And in that book, it explains how we form our habits. Some research said that habits are formed in 21 days. Some research say it takes about 50 to 65 days. Either way, it takes anywhere from 21 to 50 days to make a habit. And whenever we are trying to make a habit, there's always a cue. That cue could be something you see or something you hear or something you feel, something based on your senses. And that's a cue. And based on that cue, you will be making an action. For example, if a person sees a cookie, that's a cue. And action will be to eat the cookie. And then reward will be quote unquote feeling good. So you reinforce that action of eating cookie after a cue of a cookie by reward of feeling good. So you essentially created a whole circuit of habit forming. When you multiply this kind of actions again and again, your brain actually develops a fixed circuit between the neurons where whenever you see a cookie, you automatically reach out and eat because you know it's going to make you feel good. And that's a habit form. Now, if you want to make a healthy habit, you need to make the same kind of circuit. For example, if you want to eat a steamed potato, prepare the potato, create an environment, have potatoes in front of you. You will be seeing a potato. Eating a potato will be the action, and then whatever the feeling you get will be the feeling you get from eating potato. And that's where the mindset will come in. If you are creating a mindset that you're going to eat healthy food, then all the cues which will be coming from good, healthy environment will lead to a healthy action. So again, creating habits with a cue, action, and reward with a healthy environment will create healthy habits in 21 to 50 days. So again, once you clean out the environment, like I explained earlier, once you clean out the environment, all the cues you have in your kitchen, in your pantry, in your refrigerator, even at your work desk, your work drawer should be full with fruits and carrots. So if your cues are healthy, then your actions automatically will be healthy, and your reward automatically based on your mindset will be healthy reward. And once you keep repeating this thing for 21 to 40 or 50 days, you'll be always winning the battle of reversing the obesity. So again, number one, create a healthy environment. That's a number one, is have a purpose why you want to lose weight. Number two, create the healthiest environment, and you can watch my video on that. And once you create the healthy environment, have only the healthy cues followed by healthy actions followed by healthy reward. Once you set up this kind of psychology, let me tell you, you will not be a slave to unnecessary temptations and unnecessary succumbing to the food what you see in front of you. Once you make a habit, once you have the mindset, even an unhealthy food is thrown at you, you will definitely be able to ignore it. You'll be able to move away or walk away from it, and you will be able to tell yourself with a pride that you were able to walk away from that unhealthy cue. But you need to create enough amount of healthy cues and those circuits in your brain that you will not be able to succumb to those unhealthy cues. So again, this is a big science. I'm not obviously a psychologist, I'm just a cardiologist. And I think there are a lot of books written on habit formation. There are a lot of books written on healthy cues. There are a lot of books written on creating environment. There are a lot of books written even on purpose, like purpose to life, purpose to health, purpose to reverse obesity. So all those things are a lot of books. But to keep it simple, have a purpose, why you want to lose weight, create the healthiest environment, and then have the healthiest cue to form the healthiest habits. Once you master these three things, let me tell you one thing, life will get a lot easier, and before you know, you will start losing 1 to 2 pounds. We will be covering more on this thing as we go on our future lives every Sunday at 8 o'clock. But I want Meryl to come back to explain us what more particularly African American women can do, particularly with their love for some of the unhealthy food. And many times we don't even realize, many times we don't even appreciate that we eat actually for more than what we are hungry for. We eat for many, many more reasons than only because of the hunger. So Meryl is going to walk us through what are the reasons we eat other than the hunger.
Wow. Well, thank you, Dr. Shah. That was great. Yeah. So there are so many reasons we actually, I did a little test with myself just to see what it is, what makes me eat. I can tell you, I have been blessed to really never be hungry in my life, right? There's always been food around and I've never really had to go hungry. So mostly, I think a lot of people in America are in that situation. We don't really feel hunger. We might feel empty, but we're not usually hungry, like to the point where we're going to faint because we don't have enough calories or enough sugar or something like that. So then that means we're eating for other reasons, right? We're not eating because we're hungry. We might be eating because we're empty. That's one. You know, your stomach's growling. That's one. But there's lots of reasons that we eat. We might eat because we're at a party. We might eat because we're expected to. We might eat because we are upset. We might eat because we're happy. We might eat because we're sad. We might eat because it's 12 o'clock and that means it's lunchtime. There's just so many reasons. It might be that you're lonely. It could be that you're tired. You're driving in your car and you're bored. You're in traffic and you're, feeling frustrated. There's lots and lots of reasons to eat. People even eat when they're really thirsty. We get a little bit confused. Our signals get crossed and we're actually thirsty and we wind up eating instead. So these are all reasons that we eat. I'll tell you one of my, a silly one about me. So let's say I cook dinner and I'm putting away the food that we didn't eat after the meal, cleaning up the kitchen. And let's say there's 3 tablespoons of beans and rice left. Rather than throw them away, which I really don't want to throw away food, and rather than go get a plastic container about this big and put the leftovers in a container, I will eat the beans and rice. It's only 3 tablespoons. Come on, it can't be that bad, right? But do that every day, multiple times for weeks. It adds up, right? So that's a combination of being lazy and being frugal is why I eat, right? So there's just so many different reasons for eating. As a matter of fact, here's a little challenge for you. Dr. Shah, let's do this week. Let's play a game.
Yes.
This week, let's write down all the reasons that we eat. I'm going to give you 1 point for every reason that you write down. And if you can get to 10 points, I'll give you a virtual hug. I don't have much else I can give you. But we will also, Dr. Shah and I will also write down reasons that we eat. It should be interesting to see what people realize, what you discover. I'm really interested in seeing that. Food is such an attraction. It's about joy, and it covers sadness, and it covers overwhelm, and it covers frustration. It's for celebrating. There's so many reasons. But this week, put down in the chat below or in the comment section below, why are you eating when you eat? Just notice when you get up to go to the refrigerator or to a cookie jar or to a chips bag or whatever it is you're going to get, carrots, potatoes, even better, apples and grapes, wonderful, right? Whatever it is you're going to go eat, just write down what it is that you're eating or why you're eating and put that in the comment section. And we'll see what we get in the comment section. We'll have fun with it. Don't get too serious about it. It's not there's no judgment. We're just looking for fun and to learn, okay?
No, I think that's a great game to play because I myself actually many times I eat even when I'm not hungry. Many times I'm bored or I'm stressed. And I think as a human, we all actually fall for that. And I think that's where, like Meryl said, I think if we realize the reasons we eat other than when we are hungry and when we need to eat for our bodily functions, then I think we start to become more conscious and we start to make better choices. I think, for example, now when I'm bored, I read a book or I do a Facebook Live or I go for a walk. So I think instead of just sitting and eating when I'm bored, I have found the reasons where I'm bored and I can do actually things where I'm not bored. So again, I think once you become conscious, like Meryl asked us, once you become conscious, why do you eat when you are not hungry? Once you're conscious of those choices and those items, then you become actually better at reflecting on them and solving those issues by your own answers. For example, my own answer to my boredom, it now has I have like 10 things in my list I can do when I'm bored instead of eating food. So same thing you can do, same thing Meryl can do, and whatever your reasons are, if you are stressed, maybe sit in the sun, maybe talk to a friend, maybe take a shower, maybe do some meditation, do whatever. So I think figure out why you are eating when you're not hungry. Write down on your phone. Actually, matter of fact, I was going to ask Meryl that all our viewers and listeners, both on Facebook and YouTube, should start a note in their phone function, both iPhone and Android, where whatever they are listening and learning from us, they can start writing it down, including the reasons why they eat when they are not hungry, and then start commenting and asking questions on our future lives so we can answer those questions. So have that running note on your phone so that way you can refer again and again. And you can put in your note that having a purpose, creating environment, creating habits. And now the next thing, Meryl's question, why do you eat when you are not hungry? Start writing those down in your note. And let's meet next Sunday. And when we meet next Sunday, we will ask you, did you write it down? And please comment and see what you came out with. So go ahead, Mara. I think you have this is an excellent exercise, and I'm going to do it myself. I think we will report. Both of us will report what are our reasons, and we'll ask our listeners and viewers to see what their reasons are.
Yes, definitely. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Just keep it lighthearted. Don't get too serious about it. Don't make it mean a whole lot. We're just an exploration, a little inquiry we're doing to learn more about ourselves and why we eat when we're not hungry.
So there was a comment by Adrienne that I eat my feelings a lot, and I think she's so right. And I think many times when we are, like Meryl said, when we are sad, we eat. When we are happy, we eat. And I think we go by our feelings, and that's where I think to answer Adrienne's question that we need to learn how to analyze and how to reflect on our feelings and how we can change those feelings towards more happier feeling so that way we are not reaching out for food to feel happy and feel good. So I think we will see what other questions and other thoughts come out, but I'm glad that Adrienne is also saying that she eat her feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very common thing among women. And Adrienne, thank you so much for asking that question. That's like perfect, perfect. So many of us do eat our feelings, and the food doesn't necessarily make us feel any better, right? We wind up, okay, we ate, and now maybe we feel sluggish, or we feel tired, or we feel guilty, or we're mad we ate that thing, or it was great while it was in our mouth, and we feel good about it till it gets to maybe here. And then, what happens next? That doesn't solve the problem that we're worried about or the thing that's upset us. It doesn't fix any of that. So like Dr. Shah was saying, one thing, in fact, that is very helpful is to start journaling. Write what's bothering you. Write it out. Today I had a terrible day at work. My boss said this and my coworker said that, and I messed up a job that I was supposed to do, and whatever happened, right? I spilled chocolate milk down the front of my shirt, whatever the thing was, right? I dropped my lunch in the middle of the microwave, whatever it was. Write out what happened and talk to a friend about it, someone who's supportive and who understands what goes on with you. That probably would go a whole lot further to making you feel better than to eating food that is unnecessary and likely unhealthy. So, Dr. Shah, should we wrap it up? I think we're probably at about 30 minutes
Yeah,
now.
I think today's session was very important session because I want all of our listeners and viewers to understand that both myself and Meryl, we are here not just to talk about what you eat, because what we should eat has been taught for thousands and millions of times. We are here to show you what more is involved, particularly for African American women, what more is involved than what we eat. It involves, like I said, creating purpose, environment, habit forming, psychology, emotional eating, cultural eating, eating within the families, eating at a parties, even not having access to some of the healthier food, like having a lot of food deserts. I think not access to farm markets. I think we're going to cover in the next many sessions what more things are involved other than what we just eat. So please stay tuned. We'll be back next Sunday at 8 o'clock. Today, again, sorry for the technical difficulty for first 5-10 minutes, but we are back on. So I asked Meryl to wrap it up for next 2-3 minutes, and then we'll conclude.
All right. Well, thank you so much, like Dr. Shah said, for coming. And probably won't take me too many minutes to say thank you, and we'll see you next week. Please put your comments in the comment section and in the chat section. If you're watching this on replay, let us know that you're watching it on replay. And yeah, just let us know what it is that drives you to eat when you're not hungry. That'll be our inquiry this week, okay? Everybody have a great night. Happy 4th of July. There's still fireworks going on behind me here. And we'll see you next Sunday.
Yep.
Thanks so much. You guys take care.
Yep. See you, Meryl. Thank you, everybody.